Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha. If you're new, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. Today I want to focus on my eyeshadow palettes, excluding my Copacetic Cosmetic quads and my singles, with the exception of singles that are not from Copacetic and Dandelion Co. I like those. I'm not going to declutter those. But I want to look at these palettes with a fresh set of eyes because my goal for 2023 is to really use up the products and use the products that I enjoy. I think I might have talked about a little bit in my planning to pan for 2023, and I think I did post an Instagram post about it. So the example I gave was the e.l.f. cheek duos. I really enjoy those blushes. Not so much a fan of the highlighters. So once I finish up that blush, I'm thinking in my mind, am I really going to want to use up that highlighter? Or am I going to just declutter the highlighter, call it done? Because I basically got the $5 worth of the blush. So I want to look at my palettes with that mindset and see if anything is just old and needs to get out of my collection, and go from there. I've kind of started to think about palettes I want to declutter, palettes I want to keep. I have some palettes just on a chopping block. So I think I'm going to talk about the palettes that are on my chopping block. And then show you the ones I do plan on keeping, and kind of maybe make up my mind about these. And this also gives me the perfect opportunity to wipe these palettes down, clean them up a little bit, and get them organized. So, a palette I know for sure that I'm going to be decluttering is, I'm not even going to open this palette. This is the Colored Rain Smoke Show palette. It is an absolute disaster. The black eyeshadow busted and kind of ruined all the other shades. So this is going in the garbage. For the most part, as long as they are in good shape and are not too old, I will pass them along to like my mom, my sister, maybe a couple of my friends. But like this one, I would not pass along. There's a couple older ones that I'm really going to have to look up how old they are, the best of my ability, and decide if I'm just going to toss them or re-gift them to somebody. So that is that. Colored Rain Smoke Show is going out of my collection. Next up, I have the Nubian 2 by Juvia's Place. I don't reach for this. I love the Egypt shade, and there's some other really pretty shades in this palette. I just don't reach for it. And I don't know if it's just because it's on the bottom of my collection, or they just, I'm not 100% sure. If they're on the bottom of my drawer, maybe if I move them farther up, I would reach for them a little bit more. This is on the chopping block, but I think I want to try to work with this within the next month and revisit it maybe at the end of the month when I do my empties. So that is the fate of this one so far is yet to be determined. Next up, I have the Ace Beauty Flare palette. This is another one that's kind of a mess. My youngest son, decided to dig into it. This is a very beautiful palette. Very beautiful shades. However, I think I'm going to declutter this because I have these shades, in my opinion, a better formula in my singles. And that's just on me. I don't think I'm going to pass this along to anybody because the mirror is cracked. And I have pan in quite a bit of them. I had pan in quite a bit of them before my son decided to dig into them. And it's fine. I think that served its purpose. I got use out of it. I loved it. Now it's time to move on. Next up is the Juvia's Place, or the Festivals by Juvia's Place. This is a beautiful color story. I just don't reach for it. And I think it is the same type of thing. I just have these colors in singles, and I enjoy those formula a little bit more. I would probably pass this one along. The black one did shatter, but other than that, this is really hardly been touched. I think my sister would enjoy this one, so I'll probably pass that one along to her. Next up, I have a Celestial Thunder by Dominique Cosmetics. Again, this is one that is like a hit and miss for me. Some of these shades in here I don't reach for because I have this pink. I have like this bottom row pretty much all in singles. And again, just a better formula. This top shade here just really is not the color for my skin tone. It's very pretty, but it's not something I think goes well with how light complected I am. And because of that, I think I'm going to pass this one along as well. Next up, I have the Rebels Mint by Juvia's Place. Very beautiful, but they are so light. They're so light. Very, very, I don't know how these work on someone that is darker than me, if that makes sense. They're very pretty, but I have some very similar shades of this in other palettes, and palettes I enjoy reaching for more than this, and I have them in singles. So I really want to make sure I'm enjoying my makeup and enjoying what I have in my collection. So that's that. That's also going to be passed on. Next up is the Sydney Grace Tiny Marvels palette. I have to be very careful with this because the two shimmer shades here at the top have fallen out and broken, and have had to repress them multiple times. I just do not reach for this palette. It's a beautiful palette. So I'm going to declutter this. I'm going to look at how old this palette is and see if I should pass it along or if it should just go in the garbage because it's old. So there's that. Next up, I have this Quad by Beauty Vault. This is the Smoky palette. I really love this rose gold shade, but it is honestly the only shade I reach for when I reach for this Quad. And I don't see the point in that. Like, if I wanted a rose gold eyeshadow single, I could purchase one. So this is going to be decluttered. I don't know if my mom or my sister or really anybody would want that, but it is getting out of my collection. I have some pajama shorts on, if you notice my legs. And then I also have the Juvia's Place Rebel Grays. This was another one, very beautiful. It just doesn't work on my skin tone. Like, just silvers in general, I don't think are my cup of tea when it comes to eyeshadow. I know my sister would absolutely love this one, so this is going to be passed along to her. And then this was the last one that I know for sure that's on the chopping block. And this is the Dominique Cosmetics Berries and Cream. Beautiful, beautiful colors. They're just too dark for my skin tone. Kind of difficult for me to work with. I have to be very careful about how heavy-handed I go in. I love my singles, and I bought my singles because I like them. You know, there's shades in here I wouldn't reach for very often, like this navy blue. It's just not my thing. But I have it in a single if I wanted it. And some of these shades are not something I would realistically use. So I'm going to pass this one along. This is another one that I'm going to have to look at and see how old it is to determine if it's going to be passed along to someone or if it's going to go in the garbage. So I'm pretty happy with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 are definitely being passed along. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to say are going to just go in the trash. And 1 maybe. And now I'm going to talk about the palettes that I know I'm keeping. Palettes I enjoy. Palettes that make me feel inspired. And I think that's what I'm really looking for this year, is to curate my collection into something that I know I love and want to use. So the first up is the Glamlight Burger palette. This has some beautiful shades in it. I like the mix of colors, and then I can also make a neutrally eyeshadow look with this as well. It has the maroons and pinks in it that I think the berries and cream palette drew me in. Maybe not in the same aspect, but I love using them, and I think they work really well on my skin tone. So this is one I'm definitely keeping. And I'm also going to keep the Glamlight Burger Slider palette. This is another one my son kind of like dug into a little bit. But not too bad. If anything, I just expanded pan on it because I really do like this palette. One of my favorite shades is the shade French Fries in here. It's a very like goldeny brown shimmery shade. And just, again, I enjoy the color story. I enjoy the concept of this. And for now, it's staying. Eventually, I would like to try to pan all of my palettes and like just move things out and rotate through them and, you know, like keep it fresh and interesting for myself. This really shouldn't be in here because I think, in my mind, I count this as just copacetic in general. I'm not getting rid of any of my copacetic singles or eyeshadows, so I don't understand why I even bought this in here. But this is the copacetic, the companion palette. Beautiful, beautiful flakies, beautiful shimmers. This matte pink, or it's not even matte. It looks matte, but it's like has a slight sheen to it. Oh, I love this. So yeah, this one's not going anywhere. I haven't used it a ton, which like I need to get onto. But this purple, like flaky, is gorgeous. So this one is staying 100%. Shouldn't have even been in here. Next up, I have my Natasha Denona Peak palette. This is the 5 pan. I am keeping this for now. I might depot these because this pan broke and I've had to repress the shimmery shade. This to me also is one of those shades that I can just pop all over my lid and call it a day. And I like that with the matte cream shade. I can use that and then just pop it out and not worry about it. And still have 4 other beautiful shades left to work with. So that's staying. Next up, I have the Juvia's Place Magic Mini. Oh, love this palette. I actually used this shade up completely last year and then hit pan on Zubo and my pan those eyeshadows, which I really wasn't successful with. But I got pan and I've used up a shade in this. Before that last year, I didn't have any pan in here. So I'm very happy about that. I love this color story. Next up, I have the Juvia's Place The Warrior palette. I haven't touched this a whole lot, and there is a reason behind it. I actually went ahead and just decluttered the shade. It was so broken, and I've had to repress it like a million times. And it was so messy that I just really didn't want to reach for it because I didn't want to have to deal with it. So I think now that I've popped that out, what little bit of shadow was remaining there, I will get a lot more use out of this. Very beautiful, beautiful shimmers. Let's see. In shades I feel like I would love to wear. Beautiful. But because of that one being busted, it was really preventing me from using it. So I'm glad that I took care of that so I can get the love and attention to this palette that it deserves. Whew, this is a throwback for me. If you've been following me for a while, this was my pan that palette for 2020. Oh my god. It's been a hot minute. So this is the Bad Habit Athena palette. And I've hit pan in every single shade in this 18 pan palette. And I've used up 9 shades. All during 2021. And it looks like maybe a couple in 2020, 2021. I would really like to roll this into a project to just kind of work through it. I want to use this up. I'm so close on a lot of these shades that I feel like I can't let it go. And if I don't use this up by the end of this year, it is going to be tossed just because it's older. And so far, it hasn't changed in scent or anything. But just to be on the caution, I'm going to keep this on my radar. This one, I'm a little confused. I genuinely do not know if BH Cosmetics is still a brand. I've heard it was. I've heard they've been bought out, that they're still BH Cosmetics. I don't know. If you know, comment below. Keep me in the loop. Everything comes and goes, and it's ridiculous. This is the Sweet Shop Pistachio palette. You already know this one's staying. This was also in my Pan Those Eyeshadows last year, and I hit pan on the shade Sweet Life. Beautiful palette. It's a mess, as you can tell, but I feel like that just shows that I've used this, you know, and I've enjoyed using it. So I'm definitely keeping this. This is definitely like something I could reach for time and time again and not get tired of. So this is definitely staying. Next up is honestly the newest palette in my collection, and I bought this last year from TJ Maxx. And this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Riviera palette. I did hit pan recently in the shade Estate. I wanted to try their formula and just kind of get my feel for it. To see if I wanted to buy anything else from them. I'm still trying to decide that. I'm going to keep this in my collection. I do have a few dips going in a couple other shades. I don't think it's anything noticeable. But I think it's nice. I think it serves its purpose when I reach for it. And I think that's the best thing I can say about it. It's not bad by no means, but I think I was expecting a little bit more. And maybe that's why I got this at TJ Maxx. Maybe this wasn't what people wanted. Maybe this wasn't the same formula, worth the hype, whatever. But I do like it when I use it, when I reach for it. So that's staying for now. Next up, I have the Glamlight Viva Taco palette. This beautiful, beautiful palette is staying in my collection. It has the greens that I like. It has the neutrals that I like, where I could create a neutral look. It has pops of color. I've hit pan on onions just as an inner corner highlight. I feel like this palette is very versatile, and that's why I keep it in my collection. So this is definitely staying as well. Up next, I'm just kind of pulling, so it's not in any order. I have the Makeup Revolution Chilled palette. This was actually on my list of potential pan that palette for this year, but I decided against it, and it is what it is. I did depot and declutter 3 of the 3 glittery, shimmery shades in here. They irritated my eyes, and I'm not gonna deal with that. I'm not gonna put my eye health at risk for something that I have in another brand, like Copacetic Flakies, to me, are even better than these glittery shades that were in here, and I just wouldn't use them. So, I've hit pan on almost all the shades in here. I have 1, 2, 3, I have 5 shades left in here that don't have pan. So I want to work on this one this year too and try to hit pan on those remaining 5 in here. I really do enjoy this palette, especially because I like greens, and it has the greens, it has the neutrals, it has like basically everything that I want from here in a palette. So I really do enjoy this one. Next up, I have a single. This is the Naked Cosmetics Pressed Pigment Eyeshadow in Mother Nature. This is fairly new to my collection. I got it around Christmas for a friend's gift swap. Very, very beautiful bronzy shade. So this is definitely going to stay in my collection for now. I've used it all over the lid with something a little bit deeper, darkening up my outer V and my crease. And it's been very beautiful. So this is staying around. Next up, I have the Sugar Drizzle Paint Me Green and Call Me a Pickle Because I'm Done Dealing With You palette. It's a mouthful, but I love this palette. This is everything I could want in a green palette that's not just green. It's multi-chrome. It has the mattes. It has the shimmers, the shifts. It is such a beautiful palette, and I am so, so happy I have this palette. It's just so beautiful. Let's see. I'm trying to swatch this palette for you because it is worth it. I'm so glad I got my hands on this one. And this is staying 100%. That one's not going anywhere anytime soon in my collection unless I use it up, which is another goal I have, is to not save the makeup that I love for a special occasion, because guess what? Every day is a special occasion. That's my mindset for this year. Next up, I have the Glam Light Street Taco palette. I love this one just as much as my Viva Taco palette. I'm so close to hitting pan and guacamole, so that's my goal for this palette for this year. And then, again, these 3 bottom shades, excluding the purple, I make a very beautiful, in my opinion, almost neutral brown look with them. And I can use my greens, and then there's other pops of color in here. So this is a very versatile palette for me as well. I feel like I don't know how to talk right now. But anyway, next up, I have the Kaja Smolder Season Trio. Very beautiful. Beautiful shimmers in here. And then it's a very nice, deep, dark brown. I feel like this would be very pretty, like a 3 eyeshadow look. Maybe the matte brown in my my outer V and in my crease, and then the second shade here, the dark shimmery shade all over the lid with this light shimmer like in my inner corner. I'm gonna have to try that. I've actually not tried that, which is kind of crazy, but I do like this. I like the formula of this. I like that it's small, and I could just toss my makeup bag if I need to travel, and I have a neutral brown look that I could just use. Next up, I have this duo from Love You First. Stunning eyeshadow duo in Lilac and Blackberry. I actually used up one of these. This is on my eyes today. I believe it was last year, the year before last. The last couple of years keep running together in my brain. And I've loved this. And I was so sad when I used it up. And I got this in that friend gift swap for Christmas. And I'm very happy with it. So that's staying as well. And then I have the 2 Juvia's Place Rebel. This is in the Army one. Of course, I'm keeping the green one. You already know me. Was that even a question? But I'm also going to keep the honey one. This one speaks to me so much, and it works well with so many of my singles. So I can use my singles, and get use out of a palette and singles in my collection that I wouldn't necessarily probably pair together if I didn't have this palette. So I'm going to hold on to this one as well. I really like it. And I forgot, I have over here 2 of the Nomad little single things. The first one is the Intense Eyeshadow Duo and Half Dome and Delicate Arc. So a brown and then a shimmer. I actually really like this one, so I'm going to hold on to this one for now. And actually I think I'm going to maybe put this in my little bin for my rolling project pan to maybe reach for at an update. And maybe try to hit pay on that or use that up. And then the next one I have here from Nomad is the Intense Eyeshadow. I can't pronounce that, so I'm not even going to attempt it because I don't want to offend anybody. But it's this very pretty gold. Again, I got these in that friend gift swap around Christmas, so I'm keeping that one as well. As I said, I did not include my singles or my copacetic quads, my singles from Dandelion Co., that sort of thing, just because I'm not going to declutter those anytime soon. I like using those up. But I feel like I have a more manageable collection of eyeshadow palettes in my collection. Yeah, I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I have 20 if we're counting the duos and trios and quads. But I'm happy that I'm getting rid of some of them. If you would like to see me do this with my blush and highlighters, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your feedback. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help out my channel, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.